Again, I was stating that we are an hour into this stream. Um, and I do want to start getting into the subject about generational curses, generational gifts, generational karma, because those things do exist. Those things do exist. So I do want to get started on that. Give me 1 second. 1 second. All right. So while we're just getting everything started, we are going to start talking about generational curses, generational gifts, and generational patterns. Um, they run in every family. There's no getting away from it. Um, it's something that's there. It's forever. And you might hear people talk about, like, they're out here breaking generational curses, and that's the truth. There's always that one person in the family in each lifetime where they're breaking these curses, or they're starting up new gifts. So this can come in many different forms. Again, the curses, it can come in gifts, it can come in patterns, it can come in wounds, and they're passed down. They're passed down through bloodlines, they're passed down through ancestral lines, they're passed down through soul contracts and stuff. Um, Again, it's not something that you're able to get away from, because there's always a generational thing that you're building. So again, what are generational curses? Let's start there. Um, Basically, a generational curse is a negative pattern or energy that gets passed down through family lives, either spiritually, emotionally, even physically as well. Think about poverty. If you were born into poverty, abuse, addiction. Um, think about patterns of toxic relationships, abandonment, um, different type of illnesses as well. Um, these can also come in the forms of beliefs, like believing that you'll never be enough, or that you'll never make it out of where you are. Those are some kinds of different generational curses. And curses does not always mean like, oh, there was witchcraft or something, there was a wand. Sometimes that can be emotional suppression that was passed down in families. Um, it could be trauma that was just passed down through like colonial stuff. It can be enslavement. That's many with African Americans when they go through with enslavement. Um, Unspoken grief, that's another big one, and it gets carried across different generations, like spiritual baggage. So like, even if it didn't start with you, you can be that person that's meant to end it, meaning that it's not supposed to keep going on this long. So sometimes you can end up with extra stuff going on in your life because you're meant to end certain things. And it sucks. It does suck. it sucked because it's just like, why was I chosen for this? But at the same time, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing because it comes back in the form of power. Good, I made a net. I think I craft everything else. No, I didn't craft a workbench. I need hardwood and iron nuggets. So I will keep coming in here until I'm able to fucking do that. Let me talk to this, get this box going real quick. I don't need a cardboard box. So again, that's generational curses. Let's talk about generational patterns. So generational patterns, what are they? They're not like a cycle like how it is with the curse. Sometimes they're more like coping mechanisms or survival behaviors that got passed down. So think of people pleasing, think of like people emotionally shutting down, think of people just overworking themselves. Fear of authority. We got hoarding. We got like anxiety, like that generalized anxiety or just chronic anxiety. We even got the people that would stay silent due to conflict. Again, it's not a curse. It's not like the curses that get passed through. It's just more just patterns, and the patterns are more easier to break. But these type of patterns, they live in your nervous system, they live in your subconscious, and they're even able to visit you in your dreams as well. So that's some of the different things that you can think of when it comes to generational patterns. I love cleansing. And then what's next? We have generational gifts. That's another big one. Again, it's not like all sad and gloomy stuff. Just like curses and traumas and patterns that get passed down, gifts also get passed down. So think of your strength of your intuition. Think of your psychic abilities that you have. The people who have healing hands. Creativity is another one. Resilience is another one. Spiritual callings. You got sacred knowledge. You got like herbalism, dream walking. You got like channeling spirits. Sometimes like your sensitivity to that is your legacy. Even if like you could be the first in your bloodline to realize that you were spiritually gifted, and you might not have been the first, but you were most likely the first to realize it. Like for me, I believe that I was one of the first ones that, I would say one of the second ones in my family to realize that I was gifted in this way. What I call it, the yellow butterfly. Shouldn't all butterflies be yellow? I'm sorry, that was silly as fuck. I'm collecting this stuff because I know for a fact I'm going to need this. So again, what is the whole like reason to talk about this? Because it's just you're made up of many layers. It's not just what's on the surface. So you're not just your personality. You're not just your trauma. I know you may have heard people say that, like you're not your past and stuff like that. But you're your ancestors, your ancestry, you're also your soul history, you're even your past lives. Like, that all... I want you. I missed it. I got it. So, today, we're really going to unpack how to identify those different generational energies that you could possibly be carrying. Um, we're going to tell the difference between what's yours and what's just inherited. And then we're going to talk about how you can break your curses, how you can activate your gifts, and how to actually heal what was never actually your fault. It says, I caught a common blue bottle. I'll put it in a rare green jar. That's so silly. I love these little freaking things that they be saying with these. I didn't even pick that up. Can I catch that? No. What's that one? What we got? A semi-sage? I don't know what that is. I'm trying to let the people catch the good, catch these damn Pokemon too, because I'll be forced to catch a Pokemon. Again, if you're coming from YouTube onto my stream, if I haven't said it before, I do appreciate you just coming in. I think at some point I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to be live streaming on YouTube as well. But for now, primarily I'm streaming from TikTok to Twitch, just those two. But I think when I do make it a multi-platform, just more than just a duo platform, I'm going to stream to YouTube as well. Again, just looking at different places to just keep the channel growing. Like, that's just my overall goal with it all. Give me that. Alright, so we're going to talk about generational curses, wounds, and patterns, and also get more onto the gifts and stuff. Sometimes I'll be hearing the theme, and I'll be having to make sure it's not like somebody else talking. Let's talk about how these inherited energies can show up, because sometimes it's loud and obvious, and there's other times where it's silent, woven into just like everyday practices. You're possibly not even realizing that you could be acting out a generational thing. So repeating life themes, that's one of them. Like, you ever feel like that you were stuck in a loop, like the same type of heartbreak, the same type of money struggle, the same type of emotional wounds. Honestly, they might not be a random thing. You could possibly be like always dating people who would leave you or betray you. I know for one thing with me, that was a thing when it came into my love life. I was always dating people that just wanted to do me wrong in some type of way. Constantly feeling like you're almost making enough money and then you're losing it all. That's another thing. A lot of people come from different types of money wounds and don't even realize it. Realizing that your parents and grandparents, like, you're repeating the stories that they were doing without even fully realizing that. And again, these type of loops aren't habits. They're energetic echoes that that's trying to resolve themselves. So again, a pattern is going to repeat until you learn the lesson. And if you don't learn the lesson this time, you're going to pass that down to your kids. I know one thing that I'm doing personally in my life. I want to make sure that I'm healing myself and healing any type of patterns through me, so my kids don't have to go through the same thing. So it's like when I'm noticing something that's coming up in myself, my first goal is like, okay, I want to heal this. I want to move forward from this. I'm not trying to pass this down. And I know one thing was love. I don't want my kids, when I have them, to experience that heartbreak and stuff that I went through, constantly trying to prove themselves to somebody that they love. Like, that wasn't fun. Like, that was exhausting. Like, I felt like I was fighting a battle that I was never going to win. And that's not something that I want to do. That's not something that I want to continue. Okay, I was just making sure like the sound was coming through fine. I be having to check in sometimes because sometimes my stuff be acting up. Again, just talking about emotional and relationship patterns. Like, this tends to run in families often, and silence is one of the things that add on to it. So, like, fear of expressing their needs, especially when it comes to women in families or just feminine presenting people in families. Ooh, did I get this one? A tiger butterfly. I've earned my stripes. Think about guilt for resting or just wanting to receive love. Another thing, avoiding intimacy, or just constantly self-sabotaging when it comes to relationships. Shit. Hold on. I'm gonna catch this one. No! I had my chance. I had my chance with this. Yes. Alright. Also think about like loyalty to dysfunction. That's another big one. Like that little thing like of that's just how I am. That's just how my relationship is. That's just how they are. That's just how my family is. A lot of people be trying that. And it's like, oh God, we have got to stop this. We have got to heal. You know, we have got to go talk to that lady. And it's just like, sometimes you were taught not to thrive, and it's not always out of cruelty. It's just purely out of survival. And sometimes that's just the case. Sometimes families are not just doing it on purpose. Sometimes they don't even know that they're doing it. Sometimes they don't know that they're passing that on. Alright, I gotta go get another net. Yeah, I've got the bug. Caught 10 bugs. What else do we got? We got mental and spiritual blocks. You could be carrying inherited beliefs. Like, think about like, I'm not meant to be wealthy, or people like us don't get so far in life. Love is weakness. Crying is a weakness. Spiritual gifts are dangerous or evil. Like, those thoughts that come through off rip or just being fed to you, those aren't your thoughts. They're programming. Like, I know that you have heard about programming. Your everything that you consume is a different type of program. But when it comes to mental and spiritual, these are blocks on these different things. It's passed down through trauma, it's passed down through religion, it's passed down through fear. And not all the time are you able to get away from it. Sometimes you just have to be sitting in it for a while because, like, let's say that you can't get away from it in the moment, or your mom or something isn't letting you practice that in her home, so you have to find different ways to express that. Sometimes there's blockages, but you're able to get past it. You're able to move forward. I keep doing that. No, no, I wanna open. Again, I'm on an emulator. Somebody just found that out. I was on an emulator. That's okay. Miss it? I missed it. Let me get this first. Squid. Do they not actually eat? What else do we got though? We got ancestral grief and like unhealed soul contracts. Your ancestors, they could have experienced enslavement. They could have experienced genocide, um, colonization. What else do we got? We got religious abuse. We got shame around spiritual gifts or their identity, being silenced, erased, punished just for being who they were. That type of energy doesn't just die. It gets stored in your bloodline until someone, and that could be you, is ready to heal it. And it's a big thing. It is a big job, but it's just like it's a beautiful thing. If you do believe that you are the one that's meant to break these type of gifts, like break these type of curses. Even with as big of a job it is, I'm happy that I'm the one that's going to be breaking these type of curses. Oh my god, my inventory's full. Oh, these don't like stack up. I do want to swap these weeds. I don't care for the weeds. I'll come back for them. What else can I tell y'all guys about? We also got physical and emotional, no, physical and energetic signs. That's another big one. Think about chronic fatigue or unexplained pain. I know one thing that's been passed down for me is my birth giver's knee pain. I know that she struggled with a lot of knee pain that I seen growing up, and I literally be experiencing that same knee pain. But it doesn't happen often anymore. Again, moving to push out any energy that I have still inside my body, like unwanted energy that's not mine. And I've been experiencing a lot less knee pain, but it does come time to time. So it's a work in progress. Um, Feeling heavy or like hunted emotions. Oh my god, I don't even got a goddamn thing. Dreams of your ancestors or reoccurring symbols. Um, we even got that feeling like you're carrying weight of something that's not even yours. Like feeling like you constantly have a giant bag on your back. Like sometimes that's not always yours to carry. Like, and this isn't to just say that like all of this is because of ancestral stuff. Sometimes your body is literally just a container for what your spirit doesn't speak. Sometimes it's just that, and that's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes these things just happen. Sometimes it's not your fault. And again, it's just what we were growing up with, what we were taught, the stuff that we've seen. Sometimes your body just stores that. But again, if you do feel like it's something deeper, dig into that. Ask yourself questions. I'll go through a couple of different shadow work prompts as we're going through this, as I'm talking to you about this. Again, it's not always terrible. Is it possible to sell things 2 days in a row? Do I got anything in here? I ain't got shit. So, um, we're gonna get it started on how you can break these cycles, how you can release what's not yours, and reclaim what actually is, reclaiming that power. Um, I'm pretty much handing you the keys on what you can do to heal it. A fetus? I've been seeing these Pokemons pop up, and I'm like, what is that? I don't know what that is. My lover isn't here, because I'll usually just go grab the Pokemons that she's grabbing. Again, now that we've explored the different patterns and stuff, give me a sec. So, actually, before we start that subject, let's talk about the gifts that do get handed down through generations. Um, and we're talking about the magic that gets passed down. We're talking about the strengths, the sensitivities that get passed down. This is sacred roles that might have skipped a whole generation just so it could land on you. So we're talking about intuition and psychic abilities. Um, we have some families out there that are full of dreamers. We got feelers. We got the weird ones. It's like those people that experience like prophet dreams and messages. We got the ones that are more sensitive to energy, emotions, spirits. Um, we got the inner knowing that they can't exactly explain. You can be one of those ones that be like, oh, like I just felt like something was off, or they could be right like 90% of the fucking time, like even 70% of the time. Again, that's just not like that's just a gift. Welcome back, Kate. Welcome back. I started to get into the topic about spiritual gifts, traumas, curses, patterns, and stuff. That is the topic right now. I don't know what to do with all this extra shit in my inventory. Nook, talk to me, bro. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I should be doing right now, Tom. Yeah, I found some creatures. Hell yeah, Kate. But we're talking about like generational stuff that gets passed down. Another thing that can get passed down or just inherited, Think about like healing hands, ancestral medicine. We have that natural ability to like soothe, calm, or just care for other people. Um, Knowledge of herbs. We got the knowledge of body work or just energetic healing. Like think about that Reiki type of healing. That's the type of healing that you do with your hands. Um, an instinct for just knowing what someone needs before they even speak it. So like let's say your grandma, she might not have exactly called it Reiki energy, but she knew how to break a fever or protect a child or take away your nightmares or something. Again, some gifts are just passed down in silence, but muscle memory. Sometimes you just know how to do certain things without even having that knowledge at first. Sorry, that little fucking noise got on my nerves. What you got for me, Nook? What the hell is that? Oh, that's the book where you catch everything. What else we got? The voice. That's another thing that gets passed down. You can be gifted with the voice of storytelling, speaking or channeling energies, um, written words like calling out the truth to people, um, expressing what others can't. That's another thing when it comes to like just a voice that gets passed down to you. So think of like your family member that's going to say certain things that nobody else will. Like that's a gift. That's like a gift of being the black sheep of the family, especially when you get separated from your family because of that, because you were just the one to speak up. I owe you 5,000 miles. This man is ridiculous. What's another thing? These are just all spiritual gifts. We got spiritual protection and breaking energy. Sometimes you're not gifted with softness. Sometimes you're the flame that comes through. So you might be given the strength to fight for what's right. Again, that strong sense of justice. Um, you could be the first to walk away, say no to somebody, or just rebuild. Um, what else? The one that can walk through different types of darknesses and not be bothered by it. Again, you weren't cursed with chaos, but you were just the one who has the capacity to hold it. And some people start to realize that before like they get into their 30s. I gotta give him all of these. We're just gonna skip, Nook. Send it. I don't care, Nook. Get it out of my inventory. You're not gonna give me money for it. What else we got? We got creative, musical, artistic stuff. Again, you could have been gifted with the gift of music, the gift of rhythm, imagination. That's another thing that gets passed down. Like musical or like poetic stuff. Like if that shit just came to you just like that, that was a gift that was passed down to you. Um, you're a visionary, really into art that just came to you. That's always been to you, like with you when you were a child. Um, just having that divine rhythm, like you automatically knew how to dance, how to style yourself, how to keep in motion with everything. Like it's a spiritual thread that connects to your lineage. Like even if trauma tries to bury it, that's always something that's going to rise up. These gifts are always going to be something that stacks above it. But again, it can get clouded, it can get blurred by these traumas and stuff. Um, your ancestors could have possibly been undiagnosed. Like, think about those weird traits from your grandparents and stuff. Um, they had them. Like, this isn't something just new. People think like autism and schizophrenia and stuff like that, and ADHD or all that type of stuff. They think that is new. This isn't something that's new. It's been around for a long time. People just didn't have a name for it. So, neurodivergent, it was mistaken a lot for disobedience. It was mistaken a lot for people being lazy, or some people got called psychopaths and stuff for it. Um, Being queer, that was suppressed, that was punished. People had to hide that parts of themselves. Psychic gifts, you were fucking, people got burned for having those types of gifts. They were shamed, they were banished, like, again, or they blamed it on mental illness. Like, you have a lot of people in psychic homes, again, like, some of those people were just spiritually gifted and wasn't able to fully embrace it. They wasn't able to thrive with it. They got put down for it, called different types of things like demons or stuff like that, and it got embedded in their head. Take all of these creatures, Tom. Why can't I give you multiple creatures? I want to fight Tom. Might punch him. But you have to think about it. You're the result of everything in your bloodline that survived. Like, you're the embodiment of it. You can carry the wounds, but you also carry the wisdom. You can carry their pain, but you can also carry their power. That's all within you. Where is my charger? My phone is on the verge to death. That's Maya's charger. But Kate, yes, you need to get into your spiritual gifts. You need to start meditating, journaling. Get your mind clear. Again, focus on yourself, Yeah. You gave me some flowers. Tom, I want money. Give me money. And what else? What else? What else? So I want to talk about how you can heal from these curses and patterns and stuff. Kate, I'll go over them one real quick. One thing that I talked about was repeating life themes. Like barely making money and then you'll lose it all. Dating people who will leave you or betray you. Repeating your parents' or grandparents' stories without even realizing it. That's like repeating life themes, like that, like being stuck in a loop when it comes to certain stuff. There's the emotional and relationship, like fear of expressing your needs, fear of resting or receiving love, avoidance of intimacy, constant self-sabotage, um, loyalty to dysfunction, like saying like that's just how our family is. You got the mental and spiritual. You got like, saying things like we're not meant to be wealthy, or people like us don't get so far in life, or love is a weakness, crying is a weakness. Um, Family members that would say like spiritual gifts are evil or demonic and stuff like that, or dangerous. Um, Ancestral grief and unhealed soul contracts. You got enslavement, genocide, um, colonization. You got religious abuse, um, shame around spiritual gifts and stuff, or your identity, um, being erased, silenced, punished for just being who you were. Um, you can also think about like physical and energetic signs, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, um, feeling heavy or hunted emotionally. You got dreams of your ancestors or reoccurring symbols. You got feeling like you're carrying weight of what's not yours. Again, like these are just some examples. If you do feel like it's deeper than that, it can possibly be just tied to generational curses and stuff like that. But I just wanted to go over through that real quick with you. Because now we're going to talk about how to break it. How to actually fully get out of it. But I need water. I got some more stuff for you, Tom. I got some more stuff for you. Kate, do you only buy one Pokeball at a time? Motherfucker pulled out a great ball. So again, now that we again explored the patterns and stuff, we explored the spiritual gifts, we explored curses, trauma. Now we're gonna actually talk about Tom. I don't want the flowers. Anyway, let's talk about how we can heal all of this. Tom be pissing me off. This is one motherfucker I do not miss about this game. He just be playing in your face. And then trying to, like, pissing me off, Tom. What is that? Yeah, they better give me that. A representative. Can I get anything else? Yeah. What else I got? What else I got? What else I got? Because I got some more stuff for you, Tom. Alright. So. Oh, I didn't mean to press that. So, how can we break these patterns? You have to think about self-awareness and pattern tracking. So, you have to. These are some of the questions that you can ask yourself. What cycles do I keep repeating in my life? That's one thing that you can ask yourself. And I'm talking about take a look at every area of your life, not just the general. Think about when it comes to your relationships. Think about when it comes to your finances. Think about when it comes to, your diet, what you're consuming on the daily. Think about it, think about every single area of your life. What cycles keep repeating? Think about, with your family, too. That's a part where you can start, seeing the patterns. A lot of self-awareness is going to be needed to break patterns, to break this type of stuff. Because, I know for me, a cycle that has been repeating, when it came to my job, feeling like I can't do more than just a fucking retail job or something. And I know that's not the fucking truth. I know the type of stuff that I can freaking do for the pure fact that I keep ending up as managers at jobs. That lets me know more than enough where my strength is when it comes to working. And also just having a pattern when it came to streaming and stuff. Feeling like, I'm not going to be fucking as big as whoever in this freaking world, and that type of stuff happens. That's type of cycles that can keep repeating, that can throw you off track, that can keep putting you in a loop again, like repeating that loop. That's just some type of stuff that I went through myself. Again, it could be different for the next person. Sometimes people go through similar things. That's why you're able to relate with people when it comes to certain topics and stuff. And then that can also tell you a reason why you're there to meet them too. Also, another question that you can ask yourself: what emotional reactions feel bigger than the moment? So think about that. Think, how many times did I give him this? Or am I tweaking? Or I can't give him that multiple times. Is that the thing? I'm not reading what this says. If this disappears, then okay, I can't send just multiple stuff. Sugar cookie. But talking about that, like, my anger sometimes feels bigger than whatever the moment is. I feel when it comes to my family, I feel anger is one of the biggest things that we need to break. And I don't plan to carry that on. I've been becoming more self-aware about it. Whenever I do feel that extreme anger, I would remove myself, not running away from the situation, but allowing myself to be more with my anger, like going on a walk, allowing myself to fully feel it, allow myself to release it in a healthy way. I would take deep breaths. I would go take a cold shower, throw cold water on my face. One thing that I won't turn to, I'm not going to turn to drugs when it comes to my anger. I'm not going to sit there and yell at somebody, have any angry outbursts. I'm not going to sit there and throw things. I refuse to repeat those patterns again because that's something that happened in my family. I know when it comes to certain things in my generation, it's going to stop with me. Because again, even if I have kids or if I don't, I know it's going to stop with me. But out of all of my emotions, anger was the biggest one for me. Hell yeah, Kate, I am a retired crash out. I can't be that way no more. It did nothing but hurt the people that I cared about at the time, so it's just like, I can't do that no more. And on top of that, I'm not going to let my anger mess up what I have with Maya. That's something that's not going to happen. Oh, I can't give you nothing else. Fuck you, Tom. I'm so tired of Tom. You still only got a cardboard box in there. Of course. That is the love of my life. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not fucking that up. Especially this dating pool out here. Hell no. I'd be damned. Feel like you going to war trying to fucking date out in this fucking lifetime right now. Talk about don't even get me started. Just call me Sparky. A leaf umbrella. Okay, you might be okay. I'm not getting good things about Phoebe, but I'm gonna give her a chance. I'll be having to watch out. Sometimes we be having these big ass spiders, like at least this fucking big, just crawling around on the floor. Be having to watch out. Ooh. Alright, Also heal, Kate, heal. And that's so real. I'm telling you, that's when it's gonna start. That's when that person is gonna pop up. Is when you get to that point of surrender. Are you paying proper attention to your appearance, darling? A mirror can help put yourself together. This includes a DIY mirror recipe in this bottle. Do make one for yourself when the mood strikes. Talk about he can stay where he at. Period. No, yeah, it do be like that. Also, you another question you gotta ask yourself: what did your parents, what did your grandparents, or just a caregiver, if you possibly had that, what did they struggle with that you also have to face now? That's another question that you can ask yourself. So think about like stuff that your mother had to suffer with growing up. Um, think about like things that your father had to go through. Like, let's say if your father was a drinker, you possibly drink a lot now. Like, let's say if he was like trying to stuff down his emotions, you could possibly do the same thing too. Um, think about stuff like that. Like, you know, like they wasn't getting treated right in their relationships. That could be something that could pop up for you too. Because I know that's something that popped up for me, which freaking sucks. What'd you say, Kate? Oh Lord. Yes, Kate, that type of stuff can get passed down. Again, that's why you have to be very careful what you're showing your kids. That's why you gotta be mad mindful of what you're showing them, what they're consuming, what they listen to on the daily, because this type of stuff reflects back. That's why I'm taking my time before I have a kid. I did not mean to pick up the movie. Let me see. Let me imagine this. It's not a bad spot. I'm okay with that. But again, that's something to journal out. You can put it in your phone notes. You can pull out a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen. That's something to journal out. Make a timeline. Map it. Pattern recognition is the first portal to healing. Knowing where it started can help a lot. It's like if you see the pattern, break it. And like I see too many people, they just let patterns slide. I even do it with myself sometimes, or shit, sometimes I let shit slide. And again, it happens. It does happen. But again, as long as you're able to be self-aware about it, as long as you're able to point it out before it becomes a problem, it'll be okay. And if it already is a problem, at least you know about it now to make it stop. What else we got? Shadow work. This is a lot what people want to avoid, or they don't avoid it, but they don't go deep enough. So shadow work is what's been buried, shamed, and suppressed. But shadow work can also be healing work. It's not just always the shitty parts of stuff. So like you can try but this is all when it comes to generational stuff. So try to think about this is a question that you could ask yourself too. Um, what'd you say, Kate? Oh, that's the fucking Pokemon. So what beliefs do you carry about love, about money, about success that might not be yours? Again, this type of stuff can get passed on to you without you even realizing it. So when you're a child, your father could always be talking about not having enough money to buy this, not having enough money to buy that. Subconsciously, you're going to constantly pick up on that, especially if it's a phrase that's constantly repeated to you. And then, next thing you know, in your adult life, you're subconsciously thinking or just stopping yourself from just simply enjoying yourself when it comes to money because you're thinking that you're not going to have enough. And that's something that can stop it. That's not yours. Again, that was something that was picked up as a child. These certain beliefs that you have aren't yours. It was fed to you. Because again, as a kid, kids aren't thinking majority of the stuff that we go through as we progress through life. Again, it got fed to you, whether if it was from friends, whether if it was from your family, or just the type of shows or the music that you were listening to. That type of stuff picks up over time. So that's a question you can ask yourself. Think about every area of your life when it comes to that. Again, what's a fear that you were taught that you never questioned? For me, it was a fear of clowns. Why did I just went with it. I was watching it one day with one of my older brothers, and for some reason I was just fully terrified of that clown, not knowing why at all. I just kind of went along with it. My body felt scared, therefore I am scared. And come to find out, I actually started to have dreams, and I felt like it got picked up. I picked it up from an ancestor, because in that dream, I guess I was living through them, but I got kidnapped by a clown. And I dreamt about that for a couple of different years. That was a reoccurring pattern, a reoccurring dream that I had of a young child was being picked up by a clown in a parking lot of a circus, and they got put in a trunk, and the trunk closes. And that's the only thing that I remember. And then as I kept picking at that dream, talking about it more, writing about it, I continued that dream, and I know the dream changed, the whole step-by-step process happened, but there was a couple that seen the entire thing happening and saved me. And I think whoever that was, I truly believe that it was an ancestor that had that fear of clowns, because I no longer have that fear anymore. I thought that all clowns was just out to get me, no matter what they were. And now I just have this weird love when it comes to clowns. specifically because I thought that clowns were evil my entire life. So now I'm in love with clowns. I love clowns now. Am I gonna go as far as like putting on clown makeup and shit? No, but I will most likely dress like the Joker or something. But again, that's just something that could have been passed down. Think about just weird fears that you have that you don't know where it originally came from. Like, people pass down the fear of spiders a lot and not question where the fuck that came from. Me, I don't have a fear. I don't have a fear of spiders. Do I like them touching me anyway? No. Do I want a pet spider? Yes. But again, I did have that fear for a little bit, but I started to realize that they're just trying to live life just like how we are. Not exactly how we are, but like, you get what I'm saying. Like, they have their own little bug life going on. And again, just fears. Fears are passed down. They live in your DNA. That's something you got to think about. That's something you got to question yourself about. I just been standing here. Another question you can ask yourself: what is a cycle that you're afraid to break because you don't want to upset your family or you don't want to outgrow your family? For me, it was just being fucking silent around everything that these motherfuckers was doing. My family was just doing some wild ass shit growing up. And I just decided I'm going to walk away from this. Yes, Kate, kinks are passed down too. And it's such a weird fucking thing. When I found that out, I was stunned. Because I'm just like, wait a minute. There's a couple of different kinks that I have where I'm just like, question mark? Look at that big old fish. I was about to say, is that a bass? Right, Kate. But again, you have to think about the type of shit they was going through. Because especially like, are you more on the receiving or are you more on the giving side? That can tell you a lot about your ancestors too. Because sometimes back then, they were doing that type of shit for kings. Kate, what the hell are you mixed with first? I want to ask that. Yeah, that could be a thing, but it can also be a thing where, like, you know, if you're being like abused as a kid or something, that could also pass down into that too. Like, I know some people, if they were getting like hit in their face by their parents, that's something that they enjoy when it comes to like sexual things. Again, chat, there's all different types of things, but shadow work helps you break those type of contracts. Again, that you just never actually signed yourself. Shadow work is a powerful thing that you can do. There is an ad break, so I think they're back now. Oh yeah, there's history between that too. Especially with the Irish. Oh shit. How many hours have we had here? Only 2 hours? Okay, yeah. What I was saying though, is that shadow work, it helps you get to the core of that type of stuff, on how to break those generational curses and stuff. One thing that I know, Kate, that like Irish people went through, I know they went through since like I don't know completely about it, but I know that they went through something with the British people. Um Also I know that they went through a lot of religious abuse too. Again, I don't know a lot about it, but I have heard things. Again, I just haven't completely went into the history of it. Um But yeah, that's just something that I have heard. But again, it's good to get into that history. I think they were too. I think they were too. I like this motherfucking car. What you gonna give me, bro? You just give me a hat. What else? What else? Another way that you can heal this type of stuff. Shit. I'm going through my notes. If you feel called to, you can make an altar. You can make an altar for your ancestors. Really, all you don't need much. A glass of water is perfect to get started. You find a sacred place for them. That could be in your bedroom. That could be out in your living room. Like if you live alone or something. Some people put it in their closet if they don't want nobody bothering it. Again, pick a space that's sacred to you. If you feel called to make an altar, not everybody feels called to. You could put photos up on the altar. Again, a glass of water. Let me show you. This is one thing that I do. I keep a glass of water nearby where it absorbs energy. And it's just a little simple thing that you can do to honor your ancestors. And you can speak to the altar. You can sit at your altar. You could pray to your altar. You could put whatever you want up on that altar, but make sure it's coming from you. Because sometimes there was one thing that I put on my altar that was from my father, and it felt like when I did that, after I did that, and I only had it up there for about a week, it felt like his energy was walking all over me in a way. And when I took that piece off the altar, all of that energy stopped. It was a weird thing. But again, just make sure that it's from you. Make sure it's something of them. Like if your grandfather, if you really liked your grandfather, let's say he left you a pocket watch, put that on the altar like you're honoring him. Again, you just speak to them. You ask them, what do I need to heal this lifetime? What do I need to heal in our line? And trust me, even if it's not immediate, they will talk to you at some point, whether if it's from dreams, You could be watching a YouTube video and somebody could say something and that was exactly what you needed to hear. You can hear it through a song, through a movie or something. They speak to you in a way where they know that you will hear them. So that's something that you can do. Or also you can journal, and certain things that you write could be channeled through them. And again, just trust those intuitive nudges. Like if it's nudging you to do it, go ahead and do it. All right, bet. I'm gonna get done talking about all this, and then I'll call. Because again, all of these are going onto YouTube. I actually got to take the time and edit the videos and stuff and put them up there. But all right, Kate, have fun. What else? You can do spiritual baths. You can do cord cutting spells. You could do a cleansing bath where you just put salt. Make sure it's actually salt that you can use, like that. That one. It starts with an E. That's salt. You can use herbs. You can use oils in the bath. Florida water. Cord cutting rituals. Again, if you're into that type of spell work and stuff, candle magic. You could safely release ties to trauma, people, or just past lives if you don't want that to continue. You can visualize giving energy back to its original source. Again, lovingly with no judgment. I'm gonna just be walking around my island for real. Be collecting stuff. Again, it's just telling your spirit that you don't have to hold on to this type of energy anymore. If you don't want this type of energy, you don't have to hold it. You don't have to carry it for somebody else. Alright, so I can only kill 2 oranges at a time. Shit. What else? Inner child work. Reparenting. That's another big thing that people ignore this day and age. They don't connect with that inner child anymore. I love connecting with my inner child. I will play my childhood games that I played. Video gaming is one of my favorite things that I did as a kid, so that's something that I'm going to keep with myself because it connects me with that. Oh, let me go on this island. I haven't done that yet. This will probably be one of the last things that I do as I continue this talk, and I'm going to get ready and just chill for the rest of the night. My goal is just to stream 1 to 3 hours every day. Sometimes I go over that, sometimes I don't, but as long as I'm enjoying it, that'd be my biggest thing. But when it comes to inner child healing, you have to validate the parts of yourself that never actually felt safe or loved. Like, hugging yourself can help a lot. Speaking words of affirmation to yourself, like loving energy, put that into yourself. Give yourself what your lineage could not give you. Write letters to your inner child, your ancestors, even even the curse itself. Speak to it. Don't be afraid of that energy. You're gonna have to face it one day or another. Be strong. Have that strength to get to that. And this is what creates a new legacy. You on this healing journey is creating that new legacy. One that's based on choice, not inheritance. So, you're giving yourself that choice. Connect with your inner child. Connect with that heart space. What's another thing? Breaking these loyalty contracts. Like, if they struggle, then I shouldn't have it easy. You know, if my parents struggle, then it shouldn't be easy for me. That's something you gotta break. That's a loyalty contract that you never actually signed. If they stayed, I shouldn't leave. Mm-mm. Like, think about your parents. If they stayed in an abusive relationship and you feel like you have to do the same, don't do it to yourself. Um, if they gave up, who am I to fight? You keep fighting, you know? The most rebellious act of love you can do is to say, this ends with me. This all ends with me. Break these curses. Break these contracts. We also got protection and grounding. Um, Healing generational stuff is deep work. You're shifting years, lifetimes of energy, and sometimes it might not just end with you. Sometimes it could be your kids. Sometimes it could be your kids that you're going to be teaching them this type of stuff. Um, you need to stay grounded, eat well, hydrate, protection tools. Smoke cleansing. That's a protection tool. We got crystals. We got prayer. We got affirmation, visualization, sigils. Whichever you feel called towards, do it. Call in support, call in spiritual support, call in emotional support, even go as far as going to get professional done. Like, people that go to therapy and stuff, being the first person to go to therapy in their entire family, that is a big shift. You're breaking so many things just by doing that. Again, you don't have to carry this type of energy alone. Even if your family never gave you that type of guidebook, your soul knows the way. Your soul knows the truth of how to move past this. So, we've covered trauma and wounds. We've covered patterns and programming. It's like physical and spiritual manifestations. Let me go back again, just in case anybody missed it. The trauma and wounds were about cycles of abuse. It could have been poverty, abandonment, illness. Um, we got emotional suppression. We got generational silence, repeating life patterns, self sabotage, inherited beliefs. When it came to patterns and programming, we have subconscious loyalty to family struggles. We have fear, guilt, limiting beliefs that you inherited. Survival mechanisms that was passed down that became personality traits now. We have physical and spiritual manifestations. We got chronic fatigue, spiritual heaviness. We got dreams, symbolism, and energetic imprints. Inherited fear of spirituality or power. Um, we also got generational gifts. That's your intuition, healing abilities, sacred knowledge. We got your sensitivity to strength, sensitivity as a strength, spiritual legacy, being remembered through you. You know, this is something that people are going to talk about, whether you think about that or not. Healing tools. We talked about shadow work. We talked about altars, spiritual baths, inner child work, cord cutting, breaking soul contracts. Um, what else we got? What else we got? Family secrets. That's another big one that gets unspoken. The impact of things that were never actually said, but people feel them. Um, we don't talk about that energy. Like, I wonder. I'm just curious. Um, or those family members that be like, oh, why does Uncle Phil do that? Somebody has that uncle in the family. Hidden adoptions. That's another thing that runs in the families. Like people finding out they're adopted like in their 50s and stuff. Hidden deaths that nobody wants to talk about. Like maybe there was an abortion. um, there's all different types of things. Miscarriages and stuff like that. Um, affairs, like there could be hidden affairs in your family. Um, ancestral shame, that could be another thing. Um, and that secrecy, it can become a curse in itself. So you can ask yourself, was there any family secret you didn't learn until way later in life? And how did that shift your perspective? There was a couple of things that I just recently learned about my family that even shift my own perspective. It was crazy, honestly. Um, Also, epigenetics. That's another thing. Just the science of inherited trauma. When a friend was just in the chat, I was just talking to her about some of that stuff, like kinks. Those things are inherited, and that's a that's interesting. Um, like trauma can alter your gene expression as well. It's like a light switch for anxiety, depression, inflammation. That's another thing that can happen. We have slavery trauma. That's another thing that black people today still go through. Like they still live through their slavery at times. Um, there's a bridge between this spiritual and psychological thing. Like this exists. Again, like if you do want to get more into that, I'm more than happy to go into it. I've always been more into science and spirituality. That's the two things that I believe in that I feel like make up everything as a whole. It's something that I sit here and research. But again, we're getting to the point where we're going to start wrapping things up soon. I just wanted to get into that subject. We have ancestor and generational resentment. Again, it's okay to honor your ancestors without executing the stuff that they did. It's okay to say, I don't forgive you, but I release you. It's okay to connect with only your healed ancestors while cutting ties with the harmful ones. Sometimes that's the type of stuff that you have to do. And again, this might only resonate for the people who have more abusive families or just like in strange family relationships. Again, that might not relate to everybody. Not everybody was born with the same type of lifetime, like lifelines and stuff like that. For my queer and neurodivergent folks, generational healing when it comes to that, like me and my family, I was the not in my entire family, I'm not sure, but I know that was kind of a big thing in my family, like coming out as gay, you were seen shunned. I've been the first openly queer and neurodivergent one in my family, and it does feel like I'm rewriting an entire lifetime. Just also having that grief of not having ancestors who can understand you, and the joy of now being that ancestor. Like I can't wait to connect with different lifelines, and it's just going to be awesome to know that they're calling on to me. Like I'm even feeling chills talking about that. Hidden neurodivergence and queerness and ancestors who never had the language or safety to speak on that or express that. That's a heavy thing to have to carry and look at, because again, this stuff wasn't open. People wasn't allowed to be this way. People wasn't allowed to be themselves. So it's huge power in validating people like that who is breaking those certain cycles, I don't have a goddamn, like, what that thing called? Something like that. Slingshot, yeah. But again, it's huge power in validating people breaking those type of cycles around identity and being authentic. Because again, not everybody has that power to do that for themselves. A lot of people are afraid of that. Um, Past life crossovers, that's also a thing. Sometimes what you carry isn't from your bloodline, it's you in another lifetime. That is a thing. But again, that's something we can also get more deep into. Like soul family contracts and ancestral family wounds, those things clash with each other. Um, Repeating different dynamics across lifetimes. Different, like, think about like same souls, different roles. Again, sometimes you're here to break a cycle that wasn't even created in this lifetime, and that type of stuff happens. It does happen again, but that comes from you, but a different lifetime. So think about it like this. We have Earth 1.0, that's you. And then we have Earth 2.0 you, and they're going through something completely different. And sometimes that crosses over, and sometimes you have to heal that energy too. It does happen. And again, healing future generations, because healing doesn't just go back. It doesn't just go back in the past. It also shoots in the future. Think about the type of shit that we constantly have to go through. So think about it for people with kids or who plan to have kids. You're clearing space for them to thrive. Those, like, people that have kids, and I'm specifically talking to y'all. Y'all have the future in y'all hands right now. Those kids that you look at every day, those are your future. And even if you never have children, the world is going to benefit from you ending a cycle. Ending the cycle. Regardless if you have kids or not. But it's like, if you have kids, just know that's a cycle right there. Break it if there's anything that you got going on. And an affirmation that you could say for that: before I heal, or because I heal, the line heals, the generational line heals, because I remember the future transforms. That's a beautiful thing that you can say. And again, we're getting to the closing of this whole thing when it comes to generational stuff. Oh, I appreciate who stuck around and sat here and listened to this entire thing. You weren't brought here to suffer from the same stories. I know sometimes upbringings can be hard. I know sometimes it can hurt. It can hurt. But you were sent here to remember who you are, to remember what your blood forgot, and just to remember what your soul already knew. You're the key to everything when it comes to this. And just remember, there's people out there that can help you when it comes to this. You're not alone. You can connect with your ancestors. You can connect deeper with yourself. You can connect with others who are going through the same thing. Find a tribe. Find that soul family. Honor what your ancestors couldn't heal. Heal it with grace now. Release what's not yours to carry. Activate your spiritual gifts that was buried to survive. The cycle ends with you. A new one is beginning. And I encourage you guys, do some shadow work tonight, or just do it another night. I'm recording this on a Friday night. This is gonna be the last thing that I record for the weekend. Um, what's one generational pattern you're ready to release? That's a shadow work question that you can ask yourself. Um, what's one gift that you feel rising in you lately? That's something that you could think about as well. Um, if your healed ancestor was watching you right now, what would they want you to know? That's also something that you could journal about. You never know what's going to come up. And this was honestly a beautiful thing that I did here. I'm happy that I did that, talked about this. But tonight, or if you're listening to this in the morning, it's 10 p.m. for me right now, 10:40 p.m. Um, honor yourself. You broke through something today, sitting here learning just how deep this stuff can go. Like, even if you were just sitting in complete silence, even if this was something just new to you, it's worth looking into. Um, again, like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Heal those generational traumas. It's hard. It can be really hard, but it's worth it. It is worth it. I will end the stream right here though because I'm fucking hungry. I'm hungry and I want to take a couple of shots. And I also downloaded a couple of different games, and I'm gonna be streaming just a couple of different games these next following weeks. So that's everything I had to say.